let's take a little look back at a few of the key guys that we talked about and the grades that we gave them. And let's start with Ime Udoka, because he's one guy that we've been pretty critical of on this podcast. And I will say, even though the tide's turning, I still think some of our criticisms were justified.
So yeah, just as a reminder for everybody, what we were doing the Jalen Rose rule. So success is a function of realistic expectations. So we kind of broke it down by what the expectation was and what the reality was and how to improve. So it's just interesting looking back at our thoughts on this. The expectation, he was a new coach brought in for culture shift and relatable to the players. The reality at the time, we said he was too stubborn. He struggled with rotations on offense, but has found an identity on defense. We said how he could improve. He needs to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Focusing on the defense, but we need to find a little bit more balance. And when the initiative rotation doesn't work, not to be afraid to experiment. And, he pretty much did everything that we wanted him to do. He maybe didn't experiment as much, but he doubled down on the defensive culture and then just doubled down on the idea of ball movement, right? And eventually the Celtics moved the pieces that needed to be moved. And now we have a 9-man rotation that could really, really play and execute in the style that Ime Udoka wants. And we see that once his team got healthy, they were one of the better teams in the conference. They just weren't healthy at the beginning of the year. So I think Ime, C+, we're still grading him for the entire season, but I would even bump that up probably all the way to a B+. I'm going to say all the way to a B+, considering where we're at right now and how he believed in his message and it ended up working out.
Yeah, I think that's a really impressive part, because that's hard to do, right? Especially when you're getting hit with results that are not adding up, for people to believe in the message that you're saying. You're talking about it taking time, really, really digging in and doubling down on this defensive identity. And we've seen, how it paid off. And, one of the things I'm looking at here that we put is that he was stubborn. And I don't think that was wrong, because I think we had seen enough evidence to a certain point where, the Marcus and Dennis lineups before Dennis got moved, obviously, and even when Dennis was on the team, he started to go away from it. It was really, I remember specifically, it was the night against the Knicks, we blew that 25-point lead or whatever, and just Twitter got set a fucking blaze. Mm-hmm. And it was that to me, that honestly feels like the point where things really shifted.